1905.
Right.
These counterfeits were made between 1905 and sometime in the 30s, back when silver was down below 50 cents an ounce. And we have no idea who made them. Their famous brethren were the micro O counterfeits of 96 0, 000, 010, and 020. People don't realize that the people that made those also made a lot of other dyes. They're made of high-grade silver between 925 and 975 silver, and many of them are found just going through stock boxes. They have very spot-on collars. There's slide marks on the collars. They copied a number of known dyes. There's probably 30 different dye pairs that are interrelated by the contact marks and date positions and mint mark positions. I've discovered a number of them.
How can you tell that they're fake?
Well, when you look at them under a magnifying glass, well, first off, the 1900 has the same obverse as the 1900 O VAM5, which is counterfeit. And I can't remember how many different reverse obverse pairings there are of that obverse, but I think there's 4 or 5 different uses of that obverse dye. And this reverse dye was used on other dates. And the 1910, I'm trying to remember, the reverse dye was used on another date, and you can see repeating contact marks that will show up from date to date.
Cool.
And another thing about them, on a normal kind, you're going to find very squared off devices. On these, there's a very subtle beveling of the devices, on the obverse and the reverse. And on the 96O counterfeits, on some of them, they used a reverse design type that wasn't put into play until 1901. And on 2 of the 1902O counterfeits, and maybe even 3 of them, they used a reverse design that was retired in 01 and was not used at all in 02. It's a very subtle difference. But to people who know silver dollars, like I do, they're easy to spot, because there's the wide wing gap between the neck of the wing and the narrow wing gap. The narrow wing gap, that design type was eliminated at the end of 2000, in the middle of 2000, in the middle of 1901, but it was used on some of the 1902 counterfeits. And
these are excellent.
Repeating gouges and so forth on these different ones that you can just trace them all across and see how they're all interrelated. And I think we found out that the 1902 micro O counterfeit was actually a known VAM. It was a double ear. I can't remember which one it was, but they used it to make the 1902 micro O dye. I remember the first time I found the 1902 micro O in AU, I looked at it and I said, there is no way these are real. They've got to be counterfeit. That was back in 96. And then a week later, I found a 96 O in XF. And I said, they have to be counterfeit. They can't be real. But it took 9 years before PCGS and NGC to say,
wow,
they're counterfeit. We want them out of our holdings. And then Annex and SEGS and ICG followed suit.
These are super high-level counterfeits. These are great.
Very, very high-level counterfeits. The 1910, I was going through a box. I was going through 3 boxes of raw dollars. And I stopped and I went, this really stinks, because by now I've at least found a counterfeit.
Yeah.
And the dealer said, oh, you never found a counterfeit in my stuff. I had to take it out and destroyed it. And he says, no, I don't think you would ever caught one of these. He says, oh no, I know my dollars. I'd have taken it out and destroyed it on the spot. Next coin I pulled up, I looked at it and I went, okay, what do you want for this one? He looks that up in his gray sheet and comes back with like $39 or something, which was a commensurate for an MS-62. So I paid him, and I said, oh, by the way, it's counterfeit. And he says, what makes you think it's counterfeit? The weight's right, the luster's right.
Yeah.
I said, well, I don't know. I'm the one that discovered it. It's a Van 60.
Nice.
So he just blew me off. So I drove it to Leroy Van Allen.
Yeah.
And Leroy looked at it and just flipped because he had never seen one of these in uncirculated grade.
That's great.
And he wrote a big article on it.
That's cool. It's a good story, man. Thank you for your time.
Mm-hmm.